Hello guys, one of the main reasons why I personally do not believe in any negotiations with Russia or agreements with Russia if its modern regime is preserved and war criminals are not punished and serious, like processes do not take place inside this Russian Federation, because this will not deliver us justice. And without justice, the war cannot end and real peace cannot come. This will simply be a pause, this will be a frozen conflict that can return and become even worse. This can grow into the Third World War. So justice is same important as defeat and demilitarization of Russia. And today, justice was delivered to two Russian officers, most importantly deep inside Russia, so that others who consider coming to Ukraine to, loot and kill may reconsider their decision. Ukrainian forces work really well, and when I collect the information for this video, I read a lot of feedback that you are surprised at how effective we are. And I can tell you we have the reasons. We are very motivated because, first of all, again, it's about justice, and justice is an important part of any end of war, victory, peace. And second, because by demilitarizing Russia, and here we also talk about their army, we make this world a safer place. So let's talk about an officer responsible for the aerial attacks, missile attacks on Mariupol, who was neutralized in Stavropol, and then another one neutralized in Belgorod region that was too active during the annexation of Crimea and later also joined the Russian forces as an important rocket artillery battery chief. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat, demilitarization and justice served inside Russia, subscribe. As you see, we discuss all of that on the channel quite often. And let's start with the officer number one, who was not just an ordinary officer, but he was the chief of air operation in Mariupol. There are tons of videos where he talks about how he developed the strategy to destroy more of Mariupol. You all know that this once very beautiful, very European, very vibrant city on the shores of the sea is now a symbol of Russian violence, is this complete war crime because it is burned to ashes. And there are once again lots of videos from that period when that officer kept targeting it with various missiles, how people were trying to cook food in the yards and were targeted at that moment. So Russia considered him a brave hero, a person sitting far away from the front lines, even from the Russian side, targeting missiles on innocent civilians that are cooking food outside their destroyed apartment buildings. That is what they consider heroism in Russia. And he was a part of various TV shows in Moscow, trying, to attract more youth to these meat grinders. And he was even a mayor of Stavropol. And he became, I'm sorry, not a mayor, but a deputy mayor of Stavropol. And he was neutralized somewhere like a parking lot. And the story is quite unusual because there is video footage that shows a young man, a 29-year-old man, approaching him with a bottle of champagne or something, and they explode. According to the data now available from the Russian side, that man was kinda kamikaze and he blew them both up. And now there are rumors that they were actually lovers and they've met on a dating site and perhaps had some problems or something. I am not sure if it is, like the result of an unsuccessful love affair between these men, or if it's Ukrainian revenge. But the most important fact, the justice was delivered in Stavropol. the justice karma found that war criminal responsible for the aerial attacks on Mariupol, once a beautiful city, and now a symbol of Russian craziness and violence. Remember to subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine, and please share these videos to help us, fight in the world of Russian propaganda and disinformation that can actually be very and very toxic. So the very first officer was Zaur Hurtsev, and we have another one neutralized today, and that is Viktor Samoylov. He was neutralized in Belgorod region. Belgorod is an active war zone. We don't know for sure what happened, but he joined the majority of the Russian army, and you know where the majority of the Russian army is? Right in hell. Soon there will be 1 million. Any other nation would have stopped long ago. But unfortunately, Putin combines two awful strategies. First, he destroys Ukraine because he understands he cannot conquer us, so he simply wants to erase Ukrainians as a nation, but he also conscripts those various different nationalities, not people from Moscow, not people from St. Petersburg, but from lots of people's republics now under the Kremlin pressure, with a great potential to be independent one day. But the choice is, to send them to meat grinders and to solve in this very bloody way the program of his Ruski Mir, which these people actually do not suit. And that is one more proof of a very criminal, very Nazi-like regime of the modern Kremlin. So that officer Samoylov, he was a rocket artillery battery commander. And it goes without saying, there are lots of war crimes that he was responsible for. And interestingly, he was in that Russian army at the moment of the annexation of Crimea. He served in Sevastopol. So he literally participated in this war from the very beginning, and it began in 2014. To tell you the truth, I think it actually began in 2008 with the attack on Georgia. But Russia is also responsible for awful wars in Chechnya and many more in Moldova. Literally, that is the country that constantly produces wars. Imagine a second that Russia is peaceful, they will collapse because they do not produce anything, they are not competitive, they are not interesting at all. So we may say that this day was important because, trust me, it's not just the way to make the world safer by neutralizing those responsible for awful things in Mariupol, in Crimea, on the front lines for the invasion of Ukraine, but it is also a message to those who consider joining the Russian army. You better not, because justice will be served not only on the front lines. Of course, we do a lot of that on a daily basis here, defending our motherland, but also they are not safe in Russia. War criminals are not safe anywhere. And I'm proud that the Ukrainian, intelligence services are getting more and more professional, and they provide us a lot of examples of such cases when justice finds war criminals deep inside Russia. Same as Ukrainian drones find their evil military objects and sanctions keep destroying Russian economy. That is important. Russia is on the brink of the collapse. And if we want safe world, safe Europe, safe America, we need to once and forever demilitarize and defeat this collapsing Russian empire. Please support our 5th NEFO campaign. 3/4 of it is already done, and I am very proud of our community. And if you want to do something good and to help us protect a lot of Ukrainian lives, please consider supporting. I provide a link here. Also, check my video on the new channel about my Soviet memories, where I tell you a lot about my dad, about shopping in Soviet times, and many more interesting facts. Remember to join this channel if you're new, and also follow me on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads, and Discord. All the links that you need are in the description of this video. And the link to our merch shop with lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Sending you warmest greetings and a lot of love from my favorite city in the world, Kyiv. I love calling it beautiful monster. We had a very strong thunderstorm today, and trust me people, one of the things that Russians has stolen from us too is this joy of thunderstorms, because for the first minutes I was sure that these are explosions, and without air raid alert it happens with ballistic missiles. But later I realized it's the end of May, it's the time of thunderstorms, and later I managed to enjoy that. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!